The Odyssey is here. It is hitting public open screenings today as it enters theaters. And of course, the first reactions were through the roof. The full reviews all came out yesterday. It still is being classified as universally praised or whatever over at Metacritic. It's got like a 96 or a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I haven't seen it yet. Going to go over and see it today. Now, part of the question, there have been two. One, would it be good? Well, if you listen to all the people who've seen it so far, yes, it's really good. But the second question has been, are people going to go out and see it? That's been the question. Now, right now, as we're heading into its weekend, Box Office Pro and others have now given their final projections for the opening weekend for the Odyssey. And they are saying it's looking to get about $100 million North American. Specifically, they're saying the range is 90 to 105 million. But they're saying themselves that they are targeting $100 million for the opening of the Odyssey. Now, to put that into context and a bit of perspective, if you look at all the Christopher Nolan films without the word night in it, aka Batman films, if it does come in at about the $100 million mark, that would make this movie the highest opening weekend ever for a Christopher Nolan film. So, as we take a look at this, the biggest opening weekend for a Christopher Nolan film that is not Batman was Oppenheimer. That opened $82 million. Inception opened to 62 and Dunkirk opened to 50. But the interesting thing here, though, is look at what those movies ended up making. Dunkirk, with a $50 million opening, went on to make $500 million. That was a huge surprise. A lot of people didn't know if anybody would go see Dunkirk. I loved it. Anyway, made over $500 million, $527 million. Inception, with a $62 million opening, considered by many people maybe to be Christopher Nolan's best film, ended up making $836 million. Now, the closest to the opening projections of Odyssey is Oppenheimer, which had an $82 million opening, and it came within a breath of making $1 billion. So, if you step back then and look at this, you have to keep a couple things in context. Number one, only two films in the history of cinema, only two R-rated films in the history of cinema have ever joined the $1 billion club. Only two. That was Deadpool and Wolverine, and that was the first Joker before he became Folie à Deux. So that's it. Can Oppenheimer be the third? Maybe, but again, it's a tall order. Only two films have ever done it in history. Also keep in mind that it's not necessarily going to be a 1-to-1 ratio, right? Like, just because Oppenheimer opened 82, that if Odyssey opens over that automatically means it'll make more money in the long term than Oppenheimer did. That's a false equivalency. That's not necessarily true, but it's certainly possible. And guys, if this movie can open to 10 million higher, 15 million higher, 20 million higher than Oppenheimer did, I think it's fair to say there is at least a realistic chance that we could be talking about the Odyssey as becoming the third R-rated member of the $1 billion club. Anyway, Ryan, you've seen the numbers. You've heard all the buzz. The movie's finally here. Is it going to attract enough people and put enough butts in the seat that there's a potential for this thing to be his highest grossing film? And also, could it join the $1 billion club? What do you think?
Well, I've seen the Odyssey. Saw it on Monday. It's a masterpiece. So it does have that going for it. And I'll tell you the reason, before I tell you my box office prediction, I'll tell you the reason for this prediction. What he did here is he took this text that, is thousands of years old, and he made it incredibly accessible. Nolan is a master of exposition. In some movies, he likes to withhold. I think he withheld in Oppenheimer. He withheld in Dunkirk. He withheld information in Inception. In this movie, he does not. He assumes that people might be familiar with "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" and he fleshes it out from there. And in a way that's very satisfying. Like the fact that there's a scene in the movie, just in case people haven't read this, I'm not going to spoil a 4,000-year-old, 3,000-year-old story. There's a scene toward the end where the theater I was in of press screening erupted in cheers. And this is nearing 3 hours when this happened. So he really, really pulled people in and made this accessible. I think Oppenheimer did so well because of the Barbenheimer thing, because a lot of people, were paired with that. I think the Odyssey is going to eclipse it by far. I think it's not only
Wow.
going to pass 1 billion. I think it's going to hit 1.2 or 1.5. And here's why: it's
Really?
accessible for people overseas. Even with that 3 hour runtime, I think it's going to perform even better overseas than what Oppenheimer did. Because Oppenheimer, I think, just the material itself is it's very closed off to people. It's a
Right.
drama about the making of the atomic bomb. This was good as Cyclops and sword fights and all this other stuff. And frankly, it's what movies used to feel like when you go see them. It's a 3 hour epic, and I can't wait to go see it again this weekend. So yeah, I think it's going to go over 1 billion.
Wow. So when, like, you obviously mentioned just now that there was that one moment of huge eruption. I have not gone to see the film yet. I'm seeing it today for the first time. How did you gauge the theater you saw it in? Was it fairly enthusiastic? Were people buzzing about it as they were walking out? Were there like, how was the audience that you saw it with?
Buzzing. And I should clarify here. So it was partial press. I was down in like the VIP section. It was a 70 mil screening, not an IMAX. So there were a lot of civilians there. There were like some influencer types there too. But like the whole back part was people who waited in line, like a very, very, very long line. When I saw the line, I thought I had to wait in it. And I was there for a second. And I thought, wait a minute, I'm Ryan Airy. And I walked in. So yeah, it was people who wanted to see it and were
You
not.
do know I'm going to make that
disappointed.
t-shirt now, right? You know I'm going to make that t-shirt.
Please. Please, just give me a nickel for every one you sell. I want points, buddy. I want points. I got to wet my beak. The theater was so into it, and I was surprised because at this particular moment, if you've read the book, I mean, it happens in the damn story. Like, it's not a surprise. But he had built up this moment so well, and you're rooting for this so hard that when it happened, it's just so cathartic. It's like in Game of Thrones. There were some Game of Thrones moments that were just built up over years, and when they finally happened, you felt really relieved.
It's that moment when Tom Holland says dad, right? It was the moment when Tom Holland said dad.
Which
and everyone erupted.
Which is great. All that stuff's great too. No, I mean, I don't want to say, just because I don't want you to go to go in with heightened expectations. But the other thing Nolan did in it, I don't want to geek out too much about Odyssey stuff. He found a way to keep the text very literal. He also took things from Emily Wilson's adaptation and the book Circe. There's aspects of these different alternative texts of the Odyssey and other interpretations that he incorporated. But he also found a way to make it really relevant to today without being this guy's like the president. He incorporated imagery and things from the war. Odysseus is very much it's a story of a veteran. He's not searching for glory or Kleos like he does in the book. He's suffering from the trauma of war. And as somebody who always advocates for veterans' rights, that hit me too. I don't want to spoil anything else. I can talk about this movie all day. I love it. We got a video coming out tomorrow on it too.
Well, I'll make sure I'll be watching that. So guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? As of right now, with the final tracking coming in before its opening weekend, Odyssey is now tracking to be the biggest opening of Christopher Nolan's career that doesn't have Batman in it. How big do you think it can be this weekend? And ultimately, how big do you think it can be overall? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. Look, guys, we talk about mental health a lot around here and a lot more openly these days, but actually raising your hand and asking for help, it can still feel incredibly hard. I mean, we wouldn't hesitate to tell a friend it's good to talk to somebody, but society still makes us think twice when it's our turn. BetterHelp is working to bridge that gap. They are the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 6 million people globally with a network of over 30,000 fully licensed, high-quality therapists who work under a strict code of conduct. And the bottom line is that the data shows it works, holding an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. BetterHelp handles the initial matching work for you through a short questionnaire tailored to your needs and preferences. Plus, their industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they usually get it right the first time, but if you ever want to switch, you can do so at any time. Don't let stigma stand in the way of support. Start therapy with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's betterhelp.com/Campea.